Okay. I've been with MCP, and also for Ivan too, and for Risha, we'll do 10 minutes. Try to do like a 5-minute demo or so, and then 5 minutes for Q&A. And Ivan, take it away.
Hey everyone. I'm really glad to be here with you. It's my first time here, so I'm a bit nervous. I'm from game development world. I'm doing games for many years with Unity-Engine. And at some point, like a couple of weeks ago, I just figured out like there is MCP, and that actually sounds like a pretty cool stuff. So I started to learn it, and I developed my own MCP for Unity-Engine. So probably, I'm almost sure like everyone knows what's MCP, but please raise your hand who knows what's MCP. Okay, so that's definitely a lot of people. I don't need to tell you like what's that, but just brief. Going through, it's kind of like a type of USB Type-C for AI to be connected to anything else. So, and that's exactly what I do. I do the connection to Unity-Engine, and I expose all the Unity-Engine API, not all for now, but like a lot of API for to AI. But I do some trick right there. I'm not sure how much people around the world do that. Probably they do. I didn't like spend some time on the research, but I'm using C#. And C# has a pretty cool stuff. It has reflection. Please raise your hand who knows what's reflection in the programming world. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna explain what's that. So reflection, that's a feature of programming language that lets you, in runtime, to take information about all your code which is running right now, and get the data. What methods do you have? What the arguments of each method do you have? What description of each of them? So that's a pretty cool stuff, because it could be like a game changer in MCP world. Because we can make kind of a plugin. Let me show you some schema right there, which I want to talk about. So this is like a classic schema of MCP. Like we have MCP client, we have MCP server. Of course, we have like LLM somewhere else, but it's not important in this case. And we have something. So MCP should be connected to something. And that's a pretty hard spot, because that something like MCP server going to be responsible to take the data from there and put it somewhere else to MCP client. So it should be a lot of human written code right there in MCP server point. And this actually works pretty good for servers. When we have RESTful API, we can connect somewhere, get some data. But let's say we have some local application, like Blender. Please raise your hand, who knows what's Blender? Okay, it's a lot of people. Yeah, so there is a Blender MCP already existed in the world. So there is a trouble right there. So Blender, that's a local app. So you can't, from MCP server, you can't send a signal directly to a Blender, because Blender gonna just ignore it. It's just application, it's not a server, right? So there is a theme which I believe gonna work later in the future, probably. At least I call it plugin, MCP plugin. So that's kind of SDK. So no one wants to develop this MCP stuff from scratch. For what reason? So it's much better to use some plugin, put it into your application. It could be your game, it could be your mobile app, it could be anything else. And then you can expose, if your platform supports reflection, you can expose anything through the plugin to MCP server, and MCP protocol supports dynamic tools. So you can add tools, you can delete tools. For example, it depends on your context. If your app goes somewhere else and some features become unavailable, you can disable some tools or enable them back a bit later. So that's what I do with Unity. So all of this, that's like a single app. I did this MCP plugin for Unity. I connected with Unity together, and it works like a single application right there. So MCP server is also part of this project. So it connects to this plugin, and it just works. So I'm gonna show you some live demo after showing a few videos right there, how it works with Unity-Engine. So on the left side, you can see a cursor. Oh, hold on, it's not playing. Yeah, it's playing. Video is glitchy for some reason. Yeah, it works now. So yeah, I just asked some LLM, it's probably Claude 3.7, yeah, like to build me a level in the Unity engine. So like the right part of the screen, that's Unity engine. It exposes all the data, like all the list of prefabs, 3D models. So I just asked LLM, like, make me a floor 3x3 from squares, then like make some wall, add some characters there, add some two flags randomly, put it somewhere, and set a pillar in the middle. And that's exactly what it does. So like the plugin provides all volumetric data, so it has like understanding of volume, understanding of space, like what's like location and boundaries of any stuff. And then like LLM is pretty good of understanding like what should be done and where that item should be located. This video is glitching again for some reason. I don't know why it's happening. Yeah, it works. Yeah, and there is one more. It's right there. It's another demo. It's like in this request, it was like make me some animals and make some runner game. It's gonna build some line of cubes and they're gonna run. So the first you're gonna achieve the point that animal gonna be. So yeah, it's like that. Yeah, and I'm gonna show you some live demo right there. I have prepared prompts right here. You have Unity right there. Let me move this stuff away a bit. Okay, that's empty scene, there is nothing here, just the camera and light, that's it. And we're gonna send it to work. I hope it's gonna work, I'm not sure what's gonna happen next. Yeah, so I'm gonna like tell you what's going on. Right now, it just asks the data from Unity, like what's the list of loaded scenes right now you have, just to understand a bit of context. So you probably know what's MCP, so I do not provide like direct commands from Unity. I just expose the list of methods, the list of tools, and by just my request, LLM does a pretty good job of understanding what it can use, like for what purpose, what the data should be provided, and it started to work. So yeah, for about like maybe 30 seconds, I'm not gonna see anything visible because for now it just collects the data, understands what's going on. Oh, it just started to build something. So yeah, and by the way, my request at the start in my prompt was like, make me a floor with 4 tiny walls, like that, and then generate a sphere in the middle with physics, and create a script that's gonna let me, using WASD on a keyboard, to turn this table a bit, and like depends on the rotation, the sphere gonna like slide in one way or another way. And as long as this sphere gonna collide the wall, it should change the color. It's pretty simple logic, nothing complicated there. And probably most game developers gonna say like, hey, that's like nothing cool there. But it's just a simple sample, and it can do much more complex stuff if you're gonna like replace it with real in-game assets, with textures, graphics. Also, I tested with UI. It works pretty well with UI as well. I mean, not perfectly right, but I need to provide more data. So my amount of data that I provide to LLM is not like completely done yet. So it's keep going. Oh, it's starting to break a script right now. So that's probably gonna be game manager. And you're gonna recompile some stuff. Yeah, just recompile. It's gonna take a bit, some time. And it's gonna be done pretty soon. Yeah, and well, let's keep going. Like, do you have any questions? Sure.
So what format is the LLM outputting to in order to get Unity to do these things? Like, is there an internal Unity language that it's using? Is it basically doing programming under the hood, or how is it doing that communication?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question actually. So, and that's, the answer is gonna be like pretty simple. I thought at the start when I started to work on it, that it's gonna be something complex. I would need to provide the data well formatted, maybe some JSON or something. But at some point I realized like LLM doesn't care. Well, I need to click resume because it's more than 25 messages. Yeah, done. So yeah, some tools I have right there, they provide a JSON back. Some of them, I mean JSON is like data structure, pretty formalized. But some of them, I just do text. Like line by line, it's gonna be another object. For example, in Unity, we can have a hierarchy of objects right here. Oh, you compile something because it added some code. So yeah, let me move it away. So we can have hierarchy of object. It's, by the way, all of this just generated right now. So this hierarchy gonna be parsed by my code, right? And then it's gonna be like text, and if item gonna be nested into another one, it's just gonna be two spaces at the start. It's like to simulate some depths in the text. Nothing complex, it's so easy. And even though I combine this text with JSON, like everything is blended together, and now I'm still pretty good understanding what I'm telling it. So no problems with that. Actually, it's done, by the way. Let me start the game. Oh, hold on. The floor is falling down. Yeah, I just turned it off, so it's not gonna fall down anymore. Okay, looks better. Let me try WASD. Hold on a second. Okay, we have a trouble here. So it, yeah, WASD doesn't work for some reason, so it probably messed up somewhere in the middle. But anyway, you can see like the result. It's like it's exactly what I asked. Well, let me turn the table manually like this. Okay, I do it manually right now. And it's gonna change the color. Oh no, it doesn't change the color as well. So we have two troubles. Yeah, but anyway, we have anything else. We have a table, sphere, and all that stuff. I want you to show one more thing. So I told you about the plugin right there, right? So MCP server for C#, there is SDK called C# SDK. That's it. They do the guys from Microsoft do that one. It works pretty well. But as I said, for things like Unity Editor, Blender, or even a local application, we want to take something like plugin. And I do this thing, probably I'm gonna make a package for everyone in C# world to use it if anyone wants it. And I just want to show a sample of the code, how it's gonna work. So in your project, if that's C#, you can create a class. This is the code, yeah. You can create a class. You only need to add the attribute right here to expose it to LLM. And then you can create a function or a method right there. You also need to provide some attributes right there. Provide a name, title, and description. So, and that's a key part of MCP. So like, MCP gonna like read the Wikipedia. It's gonna understand all this description for each function to understand what should be done if I'm gonna call it. And also, we can describe each property, each argument of the function. And that's it. So the LLM at some point is gonna call this function, and it's gonna provide all the data you're gonna request. So that's a pretty cool stuff actually, because at some point, we can do not develop the complex stuff anymore. We can just create a dummy function. We can like say we wanna take that data, we're gonna have this data, and LLM gonna be responsible to provide the data to us. And that's gonna be pretty cool. If LLM gonna be smart enough to provide a complex data, the programming world become much more easier because we don't need to develop complex code. We just can take it from LLM and then use it. That's it. Yeah. Any one question? Yeah, you were first, I believe.
Okay, so like basically you develop those annotation tags, right?
I'm sorry?
Like, did you develop those annotation tags?
Yes.
And that's the trick, like we can basically use this to any C# thing and it will.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not properly like combine it like a dedicated package that anyone can use in any project. For now, it's just pretty badly wrapped into my project, but I can like move it out, like make it fancy, and then expose it for the world to not get registered probably. So yeah, that's pretty good stuff. So I just copied. It's not a brand new idea. I just copied the idea from Microsoft. They do the same for MCP server, but as I said, the plugin, that's a different thing. Because like the plugin code is going to be integrated into your application. We can't integrate it server into the application. That's the big difference. Yeah, thank you.
Actually, can you show your GitHub? Just so for people to find. So is this open source or is this?
Yeah, it's open source. It's right there.
That's awesome. First of all, that's
And if anyone wanna
nice.
like find the registry, the repository is right there on that directory.
There's a lot of people here who are going to be doing demos here in that room and in the middle here that are doing MCP clients that would love to use this. There's like a million things. And the plugin idea is really, really great. Rishi, you want to come up?